The Maze X Corn Maze is in full swing and offers 3 different mazes to walk through and a ton of hay bales to climb on. Abby St. John has more.
Just north of the cheesery, the Maze X Corn Maze is open for all ages. This is the first year the maze has been open, and the idea for turning a normal crop of corn into a maze came from sheep.
Last year the sheep kept getting out. We were milking the sheep in this pasture. They kept getting out in the corn maze, and we thought, or in the corn, it was just a cornfield. We thought maybe this would be a good idea to have a maze. I'd go searching out for them every few days. And so yeah, this year we thought maybe we should actually make it the corn maze. And so here it is.
The corn maze is open to all ages and families and offers 3 different mazes to enjoy.
There's a little kiddie one and then 2 larger ones, and they can come out, do the mazes. There's bales for the kids to climb on if they'd like to get that little farm experience. And we're hoping to bring the cheesery sheep up as well. We'll see if we can make that happen here in the next week or so.
As we head into the fall season, the hope is for the corn maze to be open for as long as it holds up.
We've been getting many requests for this scary October maze, so we'll see if we can do that as long as the corn holds up and stuff. We would definitely love to run it into October. And prices are $10 or $12 per person, and 4 and under are free.
There are also hot dogs, ice cream, snacks, and more for purchase. For more information on the maze, visit them on Facebook at Maze X Corn Maze. Abby St. John, Primetime Local News.
And now our Abby St. John joins me here to give us the weather. Abby, being out in Vermilion there looking at the corn maze, just how was the temperatures today, and was it a little bit windy out there today?
Yes, so it was windy, about 33-kilometer gusts of wind, but it was still very nice to be out there. I didn't think the wind affected things too much being out there because it was nice and warm. Maybe if you had like a small sweater on like I did, I think it's perfect weather. This week will be great to visit as well. It's going to rain on Wednesday, but for the most part, we're not really seeing huge signs of rainfall, so it's definitely the perfect week to get out there if you'd like. 25 degrees currently here, a little bit of cloud coverage, what we saw today, kind of a mix of both, but like I said, it was quite windy, around 13-kilometer-per-hour winds, and then like I said, 33-kilometer gusts we have experienced today, so quite windy, and that wind will continue into tomorrow as well. Current temperatures in Alberta, 26 out in Vegreville, Bonnyville, and in Lac La Biche, 25 in Cold Lake, Edmonton, and Vermilion and Marwayne, 27 in Wainwright and in Provost. And in Saskatchewan, 22 up in Isle Cross, 24 in Green Lake and in Meadow Lake, 25 in St. Walburg and in Maidstone, and 26 in Pierceland, Macklin, and in North Battleford. And then overnight tonight in North Battleford, it will remain clear, a little bit of cloud coverage, but mostly clear skies, 11 degrees, but it will be quite windy, 24-kilometer-per-hour wind, so it may feel a little bit more cooler or on the cooler side overnight tonight. And then tomorrow, a daytime high of 30 degrees. The clouds will start to roll in as the day goes on, but it will be very warm, and that wind, prepare for a windy day out tomorrow, 30-kilometer-per-hour winds. Overnight tonight in Cold Lake, 11 degrees, partially cloudy, 17-kilometer-per-hour wind, so it may feel a little bit on the chillier side with that wind speed, but for the most part, it should be a nice evening out. And then tomorrow, a daytime high of 28, breezy in the morning, around 22-kilometer-per-hour winds, otherwise mostly cloudy, and it will be quite warm. And then overnight tonight in Lloydminster, mainly clear and breezy, 11 degrees, 24-kilometer-per-hour winds, however, so it will be quite windy out. And then tomorrow, 11 degrees out around 6 a.m., mostly clear, 24-kilometer-per-hour winds, picked up to 30 kilometers by noontime, 23 degrees, intermittent clouds, and then mostly cloudy by 6 p.m., 27 degrees, 28-kilometer-per-hour winds, and then midnight, it will be quite cloudy, 18 degrees. And then over the next 3 days here in the border city, high of 29 and a low of 12 for tomorrow, and it will be quite windy. And then on Wednesday, it'll be a high of 18 and a low of 10. Windy, and it may feel cooler in the evening as there is a 75% chance of some rainfall, so definitely be cautious about that in the evening on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, the sun will break through those clouds with a high of 24 and a low of 10. It will be breezy, but it will be warmer than Wednesday. That is a first look at your evening weather forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
The Lloydminster Bobcats finished off their training camp with an all-star game, showing off all the players, including those still vying for a spot on the team. The Bobcats' annual All-Star Game, a sneak peek at the Bobcats' upcoming roster for the season in September. With both veterans and upcoming rookies, this is another opportunity for players to make their presence known and try to gain a spot on the team.
I think it's very competitive. A lot of the guys are battling for spots, and our expectation this year is to be one of the best teams in the NHL, and we got some spots we're battling for, and I've seen a lot of guys step up. Like over the summer, guys like Matthew Akita, Jackson Hopgall have been stepping up their game, and it was just a good battle out there.
Team White started off to an early lead, but Team Black was able to battle back, tying it up in the third to send the game into overtime. But quickly, Caden Steinke would score his third of the afternoon to give Team Black the win in the extra frame, with Steinke being excited about the win and getting back to playing hockey.
Oh, I can't wait to get back into it. I'm looking forward to our first exhibition game and just kind of moving uphill from there.
The Bobcats staff have some big decisions to make before the season starts and are going to try out a variety of players in the upcoming exhibition matches.
Some are going to play more than others in more contests, but we want to make sure that we get everybody involved and we start working towards, hey, this is how we want to go, and we can get behind the bench with them now, and we can start coaching them on the bench and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good week of practice here, getting into Friday, and we're excited to get the ball rolling.
With the preseason beginning soon, the Bobcats are hoping to start packing up the Civic Center once again, especially in its final season as their home rink.
The fan base we got here and the support we get from the community here, it's the best in the league. All right, we want to play in front of a lot of people. We want to make sure we have an exciting product. We want to work hard every night.
Thomas Wildman, Primetime, local news. It's time now for This Week in Retrospect. Here is Ravi Jayaseelan.
Welcome to a special back-to-school edition of Retrospect. First, we're taking you back to this week in 1991.
The school year is fully underway today. Yesterday, the Catholic School Board had their students back to the books. Today, it was the public school's turn. The morning saw welcome back assemblies for the students as well as teacher introductions. And according to some students at Bar Colony School, it's great to be back.
I'm glad to be back at school because of the homework. I'm going to play with my friends, and I get to work and learn a little more.
How about you?
I want to play with my friends, and I want to see my new teacher.
Yeah, do you like your new teacher?
Yeah.
Yeah? How about you?
Because I might have a good teacher. Because I want to see my friends, and it's good to see teachers. I'm glad to be back at school because it's boring at home. I like being at school because I like math. I like school because I like it very much. I like school because you get new teachers.
Well, first day of school is pretty exciting to be back and see all the new faces at our school, and we've got a lot of new families here today. So, and all new clothes to wear, new books, new programs. Do you agree with me? Is it good to be back?
Yeah!
Not only have the students been gearing up for today, but so have the local RCMP. And coming up on Police Beat, motorists are asked to pay attention when driving in school areas.
Up next, we'll revisit 1996 to explore the costs of preparing kids for the new school year.
Probably $300, and that's on the inside. By the time you get shoes and stuff in there, it'd probably be closer to $5.
That's the cry from many parents this time of year as the cash registers keep ringing and the totals get higher and higher.
$72.76. You need at least 2 pairs of shoes. They need indoor shoes. They need outdoor shoes. They grow out of everything over the summer, so it's like you have to re-outfit them.
She will spend between $500 and $600 by the time she's finished school shopping for her 2 children. Crayons, pencils, glue, the school supplies add up, and some parents feel it's just too much. One Lloydminster mother said her daughter's supply list stated she needed 10 glue sticks. I took an average school supply list for a grade 3 student in Lloydminster and tallied up how much everything would cost. Taking into account various sales, required school supplies for this child would cost around $70. But that does not include the money parents have to shell out to make their kids look cool.
We have 5 teenagers that we buy for. A pair of jeans for them to be happy now is between $60 and $80.
They have to be cool. No geeky clothes.
But what is it the kids are looking for?
Calvin Klein and Club Monaco.
That's denim and cords. Cords we have a hard time keeping in enough of. It's a big demand this year. Wanting the style that they want for their personality is more what I find that they've been looking for when they come in.
The younger ones are wanting licensed clothes like the gargoyles and the same in their school supplies. And the older ones are probably into something like this, which is the Sharks logo.
The parents want some kids to dress up in really weird clothes. Kids want t-shirts that are baggy and jeans that are fit right and brand name shoes.
Some parents say those brand names put pressure on the kids to dress like everyone else and pressure on the parents to try and afford it. But they say sometimes you just have to splurge.
And plus, let's face it, if they look good, they're going to feel good.
Julie Matthews, NewsHour.
Finally, we'll fast forward to 2001 to see what the start of the school year looked like at Lloydminster Comprehensive High School.
The start of a new school year at Lloydminster Comprehensive High School, and it's bound to be a year like no other.
This is a year of growth, and not only in terms of enrollment, and we'll have those numbers shortly, but also in terms of services and programs for students.
With the border city booming, the hallways at many schools are bursting with students.
It's clogged, it's hard to get into a different class, that's for sure.
Enrollment at the comp is at an all-time high. Over 900 students are filling the halls as compared to last year's 889. And the new faces aren't only those of students.
We have probably about 40 plus teachers either totally new to the system or who have come from temporary contracts and have graduated into continuing contracts.
With the growth of the school's staff and student population, some new programs are being offered. Kids can take in anything from transition programs to tech prep to communication production technology.
Communication production technology basically means anything dealing with video, audio, presentations and productions of those areas. I think it's extremely important for the fact that what we are offering here at LCHS in these courses are employable job skills. These students will come out with skills which can be directly related to a lot of the industry as it is today.
I think it's very important because if you want to get a job in the media or whatever, it's kind of nice to know something about it before you get into it.
Simon has taken communication production technology, a course he was willing to sacrifice for.
I graduated last year and I came back just to take this class because it's supposed to be the best class in the whole school.
And while the students are enjoying their classes, the board is looking to the future. Officials hope to talk to Saskatchewan Education about planning for a new school to accommodate Lloydminster's growing population. Anne-Marie Blackburn, NewsHour.
And that's all for this week in Retrospect.
Retrospect is brought to you by Webb's Machinery. Find New Holland products at Webb's Machinery, your dealer in Vermilion, Vegreville, Lamont, Wainwright, St. Paul, and Consort.
The Dr. H.A. McDonald season kicks off at the Vic Juba Community Theatre next month. The Boxmasters are the opening show, and our Stacey Comer spoke with Billy Bob Thornton and J.D. Andrew, who formed the band almost 2 decades ago.
I have 2 special guests joining me today on Primetime Local News. Billy Bob Thornton and J.D. Andrew, also known as the Boxmasters, are joining me here today. They're performing Lloydminster Vic Juba Community Theatre on the 16th of September. Thank you guys so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us on. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you're getting ready to head out on a tour, pretty extensive back-to-back days. So how do you guys get along on the tour bus when you're going for this long? Because you've been together for so long, is it just like family and friends and fun? Or does it get a little rough after a few days with 10 guys on one bus?
Well, it's we actually get along really well. I mean, these other guys in the band and the crew, they're like brothers to us, and some of them we've known forever. And I mean, JD and I are the two longest standing members. We formed the band, about 18 years ago. But uh, Kirk McKim, our lead guitar player, and Raymond Hardy, our bass player, we go way back with them. They've been in the band a long time. And Nick Davidson, the drummer, he's the new member. He's the only kid in the band. He's like 30. And so he probably gets picked on more than anybody else. But
he deserves it.
He's a great kid. Yeah, the live band is pretty much the same every tour, and in the old days we had some other people, but yeah, I mean, we actually prefer the bus. I mean, people ask us sometimes, why don't you fly? And it's like, once you're on the bus, it's like you're home. And, and I've been touring since I was 16, and it's like where I'd rather be. I mean, if I'm not with the family, I'd rather be there. Those are the two things that you want to do. And so we're either in the studio, on the road, or with the families. And it's a pretty well-oiled machine at this point. But yeah, we get along fine. I mean, every now and then, uh,
As our tour manager says, everybody gets the corn.
Yeah, well, he calls it the corn.
And
it's when you get your butt chewed out by somebody, he calls it giving the corn. So
exactly. So
he's
when there are 10 guys on in a traveling tube, it is somebody can get irritated. And as long as it's not me or Billy, then it doesn't really matter. So we just say, yeah, go cool off somewhere else,
Right.
But if it's us, then something has to be dealt with.
Well, honestly, I mean, to tell you,
we're the easiest ones to deal with.
We really are. The truth of the matter is the fellowship and camaraderie is a lot better than the smell.
Right. Well, you guys are touring in support of one of the things that's happening is your 17th album, which is, amazing to think of being together for that long. Love and Hate in Desperate Places, which coming out on the 30th here. Tell me a little bit about the album.
Well, one thing about it is it's we're a band that writes original songs, and largely based on our love of the 1960s music, the Beatles and the Kinks and the Animals and the Byrds and people like that. But this record is a slight departure because it's a little heavier. It's a little more of a rock record rather than rock and roll, I'd say. And a lot of the reason for that is because normally JD and I make the records ourselves, like we play all the instruments and do all the singing, but and then the guys come out and play live. On this one, we had Kirk, the lead guitar player, and Raymond, the bass player. They actually came out and played on this record with us. And Kirk is probably like a heavier rock guitar player, than what we normally do. So it influenced it in that way. So it's a little bit heavier, and it's thematically, we do a lot of records that stick to a kind of a loose theme, and this one is about how love and hate are both very intense feelings, and sometimes the results can be the same. I mean, there's a very thin line sometimes. And there's songs about pain, whether it's from love or desperation or, anger or whatever. And that's why it's called that. And actually, my daughter Bella did the cover for it. As we said, we want something abstract looking.
Right.
We don't want to hit the nail on the head, You don't want to have like an angry face and a loving face on the record, And she's a really great digital artist, so um, she took the 60s look with that sort of dark purplish kind of thing with the swirls, the paisleys, but kind of off kilter paisleys. And then she drew this sort of man beast looking creature that's squeezing a heart with blood dripping out of it. So it's like, you don't want a regular guy doing that, because then, you want to see both sides. It's like our good side and our bad side. And so it's kind of a pathetic looking creature, and at the same time, creature you feel sorry for. He's squeezing the heart with the blood dripping out. So that's kind of the vibe of this, and it's got there are a couple of rock ballads on it, but for the most part, it's fairly up tempo, and we're going to be playing 4 songs from it on the tour.
And now we'll look at your pet picks of the day in our pet picks of the day.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to have them featured on Pet of the Day.
As you saw earlier in the newscast, the Boxmasters are performing at the Vic Juba Community Theatre in Lloydminster next month. Here's Stacey Comer with more from Billy Bob Thornton and J.D. Andrew.
Yeah, our label 30 Tigers, which is an awesome label. They always put out 2 or 3 singles before the actual record comes out, for streaming, kind of like a couple of weeks at a time, they'll put a new one out. And there's another song on there called Good Night, Sleep Tight, I'm Gone, that was written with Raymond and Kirk. And that was the first time we had a songwriting experience with all of us on it like that.
But not me, because I had to take my kid to a doctor's appointment or something.
You missed out on that
I
song.
missed out on the song, and it's like my favorite song from the record. And it just hit me, earlier today. It's like when I say, "Oh, that's my favorite song on the record," there's another song on the record called "The Fire Ring Falcons," which my then 8-year-old had. They had gotten their recorders in 3rd grade, and so they were taking recording lessons or whatever, whatever you call a recorder lesson.
Yeah.
They're practicing the recorder.
A funny flute.
Yeah, exactly. And so instantly he and some of his friends started a band, and they called it the Fire Ring Falcons, and they wrote a song. And I took a picture of the lyric and sent it to Billy, and probably by the time I got to the studio that night or the next day, he had written the whole song. And so, but he had used one of the lines that my son had written in this song. And, it hit me. That's like, yeah, that one probably should be my favorite song on the record, but this Good Night, Sleep Tight, I'm Gone, such a melodic song, and it's got hooks galore. It just makes me angry that I missed out on the creation of it.
Well, when it
Or-
comes to the writing process, is it? I've spoken with musicians in the past, and they say that it's like a song is almost like a child, and it's very difficult to, when it's finished, send it out and have people listen to it and criticize it. Is that how you guys see it as well?
We try not to think about that much anymore. I mean, I think early on in the early days of the Boxmasters, I think our skin was a little thinner.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, at this point, if we're proud of what we did, and pleased with how we played everything, and every word is in its right spot, the sentiment of the song and the idea is where it was supposed to be from the beginning, then I think we're satisfied. It's like as long as we do everything that we can do to the best of our ability, then you know, we only have to prove it to ourselves,
Right.
so we, if it's, if it's not somebody's cup of tea, if they don't like the song, then, great, they have different tastes than us. That's fine. That's why there's so much different music out there in the world and so much different art and everything. It's, you find the stuff that you're drawn to. So if somebody is drawn to us, like a lot of our we have a lot of fans that are very passionate about what we do, and they
Mhm.
totally understand what we're doing. And and then at the same time, there's people that, don't understand what we're doing or don't, like it. That's, that's art, we're doing stuff that speaks to us. If it speaks to someone else, fantastic. If not, then we hope that they find something that speaks to them.
I mean, Bob Dylan gets bad reviews sometimes.
Right.
Everybody does, but everybody gets the corn sometime. But anyway, but yeah, like JD said, if we can sit back and listen to it, it's like, okay, we did what we set out to do, then we're happy with it, and we do it for the fans that we have. We have a great cult following of fans, and they love our music. And if we pick up new ones, then we're so happy. I mean, it makes us really happy if there are new people that respond to what we do. So, and by the way, we play the same show for 12 people or 5,000. We on the road, we give it our all every night. So we're not the types who come out on the stage and see that the theater is half empty, and then all of a sudden we don't do our job. We believe in playing for the people who are there, not the people who aren't. So I think we feel kind of the same about the records.
Is it a bit nerve-wracking playing live still, or at this point, do you guys have it down? You've done it so many times that you go out and you just, you have your fun, and there's no real nerves left at this point.
Well, it depends on how many vodkas we have before we come on stage. No, I'm teasing. But
And the answer is usually just one.
yes. But there's a certain, I don't know if you call it nerves or just excitement. I think I've been playing before big crowds since I was a teenager, and I'm pretty used to it. And so I don't really get nervous. It is a little disconcerting when and maybe nerves you up a little bit if you are backstage and when the lights go down and you're about to come out and it's silence. Then it's like, okay, we got to work harder tonight, guys. So, and then when the crowds are cheering when you get out there, they make it easy. I mean, the crowd has a lot to do with how you perform, really.
Right.
I'm not talking about in terms of what we put out, but in terms of the quality of the performance. I mean, it can be elevated by the crowd, in other words.
Well, we are looking forward to having you guys here at the Boxmasters September 16th in Lloydminster at the Vic Juba Theatre. Also, you're going to be close to us in Edmonton at the Cook County Saloon on the 17th. So thank you, Billy Bob and JD, for taking the time to speak with us today. And we're so excited to see you when you make your appearance in Lloydminster. And I hope the tour goes well. Good luck with everything on that. And once again, the album coming out on the 30th of August, but you can pre-order now, Love and Hate in Desperate Places. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Coming up after the break, we will have an extended look at our weather forecast.
Welcome back. Taking a look at current temperatures, it is 26 here in Lloydminster. We saw a very lovely day out today. 25 out in Cold Lake and Red Deer, 23 in Athabasca, 25 also out in Edmonton, 23 in Rocky Mountain House, 22 in Whitecourt and Edson, and 21 out in Jasper. And in Saskatchewan, 24 in Meadow Lake, 23 in Prince Albert, 22 in Melfort, 25 in Saskatoon, and 26 out in North Battleford. If we head up north in Saskatchewan, a little bit cooler of temperatures, 19 in Uranium City, Stony Rapids, South End, and in Flin Flon, 18 in Wollaston Lake, and 22 in La Loche and in Buffalo Narrows. And in Alberta up north, 21 out in Fort Chibouin, 20 in Slave Lake and High Level, 23 in Fort Mac, Peace River, and in Grand Prairie. Down south in Alberta, 27 out in Coronation, 25 in Calgary, 21 out in Banff, 26 in Lethbridge, and 28 in Medicine Hat. And in Saskatchewan, 27 out in Kindersley, 26 in Swift Current, Moose Jaw, and Regina, 22 in Yorkton, and Estevan is sitting at 24. And then if we head Overnight tonight in North Battleford will drop down to 11 degrees, mainly clear, so there'll be a little bit of patchy clouds, but that wind speed will be at 24 kilometers per hour, so it may feel a little bit more chillier than that 11 degrees. Overnight tonight in Cold Lake will also be at 11 degrees, partially cloudy, a little bit less wind, but 17 kilometers per hour, so it may feel a little bit breezy overnight tonight. And then overnight tonight across the region, similar temperatures, 14 out in Meadow Lake and Isle Cross, 12 in Bonnyville, Provost, and Paradise Hill. And overnight tonight, most partially cloudy skies in Isle Cross, Bonnyville, and Meadow Lake, and a little bit more wind speeds in Paradise Hill, about 24 kilometer per hour winds, 22 out in Bonnyville. So it may be a little bit more breezier tonight in those areas, and similar in these areas as well. 12 degrees in Murnum, Pierceland, Unity, and in Calgary, 11 out in Wainwright. And again, those wind speeds will pick up in Unity and Wainwright to around 22 kilometers per hour. A little bit of cloud coverage in most of those areas as well. Unity is sitting quite clear out, so it's going to be a nice evening across the board. Overnight tonight in Lloydminster will drop down to 11 degrees, mainly clear, and that wind will be at 24 kilometers per hour, so it is going to be a bit of a breezy night tonight. And then over the next 7 days here in the border city, a high of 29 and a low of 12 for tomorrow. Heavier cloud coverage, and it will be windy tomorrow, getting up to around 30 kilometers per hour. Wednesday will cool off just a little bit to 18 degrees with a low of 10, a 75% chance of some evening rain, and it will be quite windy. On Thursday, it warms back up to a high of 24, low of 10, mostly sunny. Mostly cloudy on Friday with a high of 23 and a low of 9. And then on Saturday, it should be bright and sunny with a high of 22 and a low of 8. And then things will warm up on Sunday, partially sunny and very warm, high of 26 and a low of 10 for that long weekend. And then on Monday for Labor Day, a high of 30 and a low of 12. So it's going to be very nice and warm for that Monday. But that is a look at your evening weather forecast. And we're looking at a nice few days over this week. Despite it raining on Wednesday, it's going to be quite nice this week.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Thank you so much for watching Primetime Local News today, and you have yourselves a great rest of your day.